Two undefeated fighters in their prime battling for a belt. This is prize fighting at its best.
Over the last decade, the sport of boxing has seen it all. Sensational comebacks, the rise and fall of boxing icons, new names coming to the fore to claim pay-per-view slots. Most importantly, the decade has been littered with boxing's most marketable asset, the highlight reel knockout.
Remember yesterday we met with him and he goes down! Oh, the hook floors him! He is crumbled and he is out!
As alluring as the defensive wizardry of a Floyd Mayweather or Guillermo Rigondeaux may be to the hardcore fan, the true crossover appeal is found in the brutal art of the KO. These are just a small selection of the epic power shots that molded the last 10 years of our sport. From fight-ending hooks of major historical significance to the sight and sound of a journeyman steadily dropping to the canvas, oblivious to his surroundings after receiving the chin-checking perfection of a prospect's overhand right.
Oh, there's a right hand! Down goes Beltran! And this one is over! A one-punch knockout! Oh my goodness! Chris Colbert has put out Miguel Beltran!
After an incredible action-packed 10 years in boxing, we take a look back at the biggest knockouts of the decade. Boxing in the World Boxing Super Series at super middleweight, Eubank and Yildirim went to war in Germany.
Good luck to both of you.
Nicknamed Mr. Robot, Yildirim looked slow and mechanical as Eubank teed off on the Turk and tucked him away in the third.
God! Yildirim being forced backwards and a thunderous left hook sends into the canvas and it's been waved off immediately. Referee Jacek Jankowiak of Poland has waved this one off and Chris Eubank has sent a statement to the entire tournament in the super middleweight division.
By 2014, Gennady Golovkin was finding innovative ways to finish overmatched opponents.
God bless both of you and good luck.
Covering the face with his gloves was not enough for Marco Antonio Rubio, who found a looping left hand cascading down his skull in round 2.
Oh, good uppercut.
Hard uppercut by Golovkin. Momentarily wobbled Rubio. Predator at work. Down goes Rubio. Touch, touch, touch. Smash. Left hook smash. Second round knockout. It was only a matter of time. It's always just a matter of time.
Another big pay-per-view event, another rip-roaring CHISORA stoppage victory. Takam was giving Del Boy plenty to think about before the Londoner unleashed a potent right-hand finisher.
Oh! What a shot from CHISORA!
An appreciative crowd chanted his name with enthusiasm as the bout was terminated.
CHISORA's moment! Right hand! Derek CHISORA has the greatest night of his career! Unbelievable! Wow!
An all-South African battle in Belfast was over almost as quickly as it began, as the challenger was Ganya in a cool 11 seconds. WBO champion Zolani Tete unleashed a snappy right hook, and his first defense was done and dusted.
Oh, and that's the reason why. Goodness me, first punch of the fight, and it's all over. He's knocked him unconscious. The fight is all over with the first punch of the fight. Extraordinary shot from Zolani Tete.
Everyone loves a battle of the big boys. Ex-world title challenger Gerald Washington and former European king Robert Helenius were both feeling the pace, before California's Washington found a big right hand to send his foe crashing into the ropes.
Oh! That's it! Punches!
He just said it!
Punches!
He ain't getting up! He ain't getting up! He ain't getting up!
Just called it out. Straight punch. He threw the straight right. He did what I told him to do, and he dropped him.
As Gennady Golovkin's reputation increased, so too did his impressive knockout ratio. Solid Ishida was known for going the distance with excellent names, even at heavyweight. Golovkin remains the only man to ever stop him. Fulfilling his lifelong dream of winning a world title could not have been sweeter for cruiserweight Tony Bellew, who grabbed the WBC in front of his home fans. Dropped by Dangerous Makabu, the Bomber rallied back to stop the African with a stunning left hook.
What Makabu got? He's in trouble. He stopped. Bellew's done it. Hamilton, Goodison Park goes berserk. He's destroyed Makabu, who's still on the floor and in some distress.
Proving to paymaster Eddie Hearn that he was still worth the investment in time and energy was Derek Chisora's priority when tough pole Artur Spilka came to town. Spilka had mixed at a good level, but was quickly leveled out by a classic Chisora combo in round 2.
To a couple of beautiful uppercut.
Displaying all the confidence of an unbeaten pugilist, talented Tabiti was not afraid to mix it up with Hanshaw. The final right hand caught Hanshaw flush, prompting a delayed reaction from the journeyman, who fell backwards and was counted out. In the build-up, Charlo and Williams engaged in plenty of trash talk, and there was a general animosity between the pair.
Blocked. Looked like oh, and a jab that puts Julian Williams on the canvas. Oh my, he's stunned.
Charlo's finishing sequence was sublime. Slipping and blocking a Williams assault, he unleashed a return uppercut to send the challenger down and out. Knockouts don't come much more destructive than Mason Menard's rewiring of Eudy Bernardo. The muscular, undefeated Dominican tried escaping along the ropes, but instead presented his chin to Menard, who duly checked it with a sweeping right cross.
And a big right hand, and that dropped it. And I mean, that dropped it. And that's it, it's over, just like that. Out before he hit the canvas.
Well, it's an overhand right that does the damage, Raul, right?
Yes.
Adam ETCHES was deemed something of a prospect in the middleweight division. That was until he bumped into Ukraine grinder Sergei Kamitsky. Kamitsky delights in upsetting young fighters' dreams, and he bludgeoned ETCHES to a first pro loss.
İnanılmaz bir şey bu! Ben knockout! Maç bitti! Ben knockout! Olağanüstü bir şey bu! Sergey Komitski'ye bak! Belki inanmayacaksınız, saatim paramparça oldu. İnanılmaz bir olay bu sevgili izleyiciler. Sergey Komitski.
On his rise towards world titles, future WBO ruler Joseph Parker was busy packing arenas in his native New Zealand. Aussie brawler Bowie Tupo obliged with Parker's invitation to rumble and was knocked out cold in less than a minute.
I'm sure they've been training hard.
He's not getting up from this. He will not get up. It's up to 4 and 5, and he starts to quiver. It's waved up. A first-round knockout. What a punch by Joseph Parker. He didn't even see it.
Rapidly ascending the ladder towards world titles, Teofimo Lopez's trademark fast hands, relentless punch power, and flamboyant ring celebrations were all in evidence as he blasted away Mason
Lopez
Menard.
getting right to it. Wow! What a knockdown by Lopez! Spectacular! Contender or beyond!
After briefly losing his WBC belt to Tony Harrison, Texan Jermell Charlo needed to rediscover his explosive instincts.
Sometimes you can get caught running into like that.
Mexico's Jorge Cota provided the perfect foil for Charlo's quick fists, falling from heavy blows in the third.
Oh, out again! And that will do it!
I told you he was explosive. That was that right hand, and he threw it after a double jab.
Beautiful.
This is what he needed. This is what he wanted, and he got it.
When unheralded Julius Indongo arrived in Russia, he was expected to provide some cannon fodder for IBF ruler Eduard Troyanovsky. Indongo ripped up the form guide with a blazing left hand that felled the home favorite and propelled him towards some big money unification.
Двигаться вперед. О, и это нокаут! Это нокаут! Вот это да! Первым же практически точным ударом.
Левый прямой, точно в челюсть.
Вот посмотрите, точный удар в челюсть в первом раунде, Эдуард Трояновский.
The tail of the tape matched Yenny fell Vicente and Juan Dominguez up evenly. Vicente showed in round 3 that he had the power edge, detonating a right hand that had Dominguez swinging for air and lying out cold on his back. This crossroads clash between two big bangers was never going to last the distance. Stevens crossed the line with pre-fight insults, while Lemieux did all of his talking inside the ropes. The fight-ending left hook silenced Stevens and sent him from the ring in a stretcher.
Oh,
Stevens
out cold.
and out cold. Knockout victory. Lemieux got what he was looking for on a perfect right-hand shot.
No, left hook, left hook,
yeah.
Jim.
Left hook.
Left hook right to the chin.
Guys, that's the knockout of the year so far, I believe.
By far.
That was a bomb.
During his journey on the comeback trail, former pound-for-pound claimant Roman Gonzalez was served up Moises Fuentes.
Caballeros, vámonos hacia esto.
Decent Mexican Fuentes is always knocked out by the better opponents he faces, and Gonzalez was the latest to give him an early night with a 5th round KO.
The 5th round. At his peak, he would throw 1,000 punches in a fight. And there is a knockdown, and I don't think Fuentes has any intention or desire to get up at this point.
Jim, that was a knockout. That was a shot that when you catch him like that, it is a wrap.
We all know that Ukrainian pound-for-pound master Vasily Lomachenko is a superior technician. Turns out he can also plant his feet and bang too if the situation requires.
Touch him up, let's go.
Former belt holder Roman Rocky Martinez felt the Loma wrath by way of a whipping right hook.
More explosive athlete. Oh, well, that was pretty explosive.
Over.
What a right hook. Over. What a sensational right hook.
Over.
And it doesn't look like Rocky Martinez is going to get up from that.
Over.
An immediate stoppage after the count of 5 by the ref.
Danny Garcia showed that he's still a draw as he went to war with the ultimate crowd pleaser, Brandon Rios, always in a position to take a punch as well as throw one of his own. Rios avoided the Garcia left hook, but was instead felled by Swift's powerful right hand.
Attrition with him because he's taking. What a right hand by Danny Garcia! Rios down for the 5th time, and referee Kenny Bayless stops the fight. Right is might on this night.
Fresh from success at the innovative World Boxing Super Series, Ukrainian road warrior Usyk traveled to Manchester to take on Tony Bellew. Despite some nifty boxing moves from the bomber, Usyk wore him down and landed a scything left hand to end matters in the 8th.
With real, minimum effort push. And that's really lights out for Tony Bellew. Dave Colwell straight in the ring. I think he's going to stop it. And Alexander Usyk finds the answer and cements his place as the World Cruiserweight King.
No stranger to traversing the weights in search of legacy-building events, Canelo maneuvered up to light heavyweight to take on the once-feared Sergey Kovalev.
Obey my commands. God bless you both.
The Crusher picked away behind a tentative jab before patient Canelo detonated a right hand to earn yet another world title.
Oh, well, he's caught him with a left hand, and his balance went completely, and the referee waves this one over, and just like that, just as I was saying that the fight had never really caught fire, Canelo Alvarez explodes and ends it.
2 years removed from an AJ undercard grudge match, White and CHISORA did it all for a second time on their own pay-per-view headline.
Any questions? Let's go to work.
Rugged CHISORA was right in the bout when, in round 11, White uncorked his vaunted left hook to better his old foe once again. Another sterling effort from Big David Price was unraveled in an instant as Alexander Povetkin reached the target and made every shot count. Seemingly frozen in time by a right hand, Price was merely a sitting duck for Povetkin's follow-up left hand.
Phenomenal times for the big boys, and Povetkin with a right hand and a left hook lays out David Price. The tail's in, he won't make it, and it is Alexander Povetkin that finds the ammunition to end the argument. And he will be the one that goes forward to face either Joshua or Parker.
Being labeled by promoter Eddie Hearn as a future star with Floyd Mayweather potential is quite the description for 21-year-old Haney. Despite such lofty predictions, Devin remains one of boxing's brightest prospects. As Antonio Moran crumbled from a devastating right hand, Haney showed that his power is for real.
Haney, and there's nothing coming back from the right. Oh,
massive overhand right, and down goes Antonio Moran, and he's not going to get up from this. He just teed that up perfectly, stepped in, pushed him back towards the ropes, and like he was throwing a javelin, just found.
It was unlikely the final bell would ever be heard when big punching duo Hugo Centeno Jr. and Emmanuel Alim went to war. Centeno found the equalizer first, brutalizing Alim's jaw with a crunching left hook and sending the chosen one to sleep.
Kicks that jab right there on the belly. Oh my goodness! Down goes Alim! Alim has been knocked senseless! This one is over! Hugo Centeno Jr. He is the boss as he bossed around and put Emmanuel.
Trying his hand up at light heavyweight, Mikael Kessler was downed by big punching Alan Green in the opening round. A firefight ensued that was viciously ended by the Dane in round 4 by a picture book left hook.
Его нахождение, вот это да!
Мощнейший
вот он, левый боковой, который мы ждали. Это страшный нокаут. Мы видим, судья даже не стал считать нокдаун до конца, он вынимает капу изо рта Грина.
И не позволяет тому встать. Потому что не понимает, где сейчас...
Bulgaria's Kubrat Pulev bucked the trend of a string of previous Klitschko challengers who covered up and tried to last the course. Pulev instead went for Dr. Steelhammer, which ended in a 5th-round knockout loss as Vlad's left hook found a home.
Yes, Pulev. Down goes Pulev on another left hook.
And that may be the one from which he does not get up.
He's done. And it's a 5th-round KO win for Vladimir Klitschko.
What you just saw was a fighter, as we were talking about Pulev's fighting spirit, that he hadn't gotten the fight beaten out of him. He never did have the fight beaten out of him. Vladimir Klitschko simply separated him from his senses.
Standing in front of an incisive technician like Canelo was not the smartest strategy for Kirkland, who figured his best chance of success lay in his punching power. Canelo met the Texan head-on and caught Kirkland in between swings to force a 3rd-round victory.
Right uppercut continues to land. There's a perfect straight right hand, and Shorely's going to stop the fight. What a performance by Canelo Alvarez.
Maybe all things considered, the most electrifying of Canelo Alvarez's career.
Puerto Rican prospect Felix Verdejo may not have fulfilled the huge expectations many held when he turned pro, but the southpaw can surely bang. Sergio Villanueva was caught with a bolt from the blue that sent him crashing around the ring and into the arms of a concerned referee.
Y Villanueva, 8 knockouts. Esto se acabó, señoras y señores. Me parece que va a ser muy complicado que pueda recuperarse. Ahí está. Knockout, knockout, knockout. Impresionante cómo lo levanta y no solamente levanta al cuate Villanueva, es un knockout impresionante que levanta al público reunido en este Shriners Auditorium en Orlando, y el Diamante Verdejo ahora ostenta.
Almost 3 years after boxing his way to a 12-round points verdict to win the WBC title, Wilder found Bermane Stiverne back once again in the opposite corner. This time, there was no call for judges. Wilder's right hand came into play, and the rest is history. Few dare to write off Ireland's Andy Lee due to his ability to pull a big punch out of the bag. Heavy-handed John Jackson had the Limerick man staring down the barrel before Lee locked and loaded his right hook to turn it all around.
Simply devastating Lee, and there's a perfect right-hand counter off the ropes. And Benji Esteves stops the fight. What an amazing comeback knockout for Andy Lee.
Just what I told you, Jim. Coming at Andy Lee, not respecting his punching power, not thinking that he's capable of hurting you, and that's what happened. He got too confident at chasing the guy down, who's still very dangerous, and ran right into a perfectly timed right hook.
Canadian southpaw Adonis Stevenson initiated a shocking changing of the guard at light heavyweight with a single punch in the opening round.
Touch gloves now, man. You're boxing at the bell. God bless both of you.
Slick Dawson was unable to avoid Stevenson's left cross, which removed both his faculties and the WBC crown in one punch.
I suppose against Stevenson as well. Oh, there is the power! Left hand has worked Dawson out!
He's not going to recover from that. This fight is over. We'll see how his legs are when he gets up. Right, he's gone.
He is totally blown away.
He's gone. His hands are not up.
There's Michael Griffin has stopped it. He had to. A one-punch wipeout from the new light heavyweight champion of the world.
Following a rough-and-tumble ring return against Elio Rojas after an 18-month absence, some thought Mikey Garcia might have his hands full with tricky southpaw Dejan Zlatichin.
Obey my commands at all times, above all, protect yourselves at all times. Let's go.
Garcia froze Zlatichin with an uppercut that left his men prone for a chilling right-hand finish. Former WBA Super Bantamweight title holder Afakumi Shimoda was a capable, experienced boxer, looking for one last shot at glory. A laser left uppercut from Marvin Sansona soon erased the Japanese fighter's best-laid plans.
Por supuesto, Mayweather Jr. Se lo decía Humberto Carrera. La mano izquierda es la de la dinamita, knockout fulminante. ¡Qué knockout! Este puede ser, sin duda, candidato al knockout del año, y mire que estamos en febrero. Se lo decía Humberto Carrera.
Back in 2016, little-known Murat Gassiev was an under-the-radar puncher who struck fear into the hearts of former contenders and pretenders in the backwaters of America.
Touch gloves, good luck to both of you.
Jordan Schimmel had only lost once before Gassiev thumped him into retirement.
Schimmel's doing a great job, jabbing, moving out of the range.
That was a big shot that dropped Schimmel! And this fight is over!
He's out. Stay back.
Marking his pro debut with a statement was always the aim for Gary Antonio Russell, who achieved his goal in style. Harold Reyes will by no means represent his stiffest career test, but an accurate Russell hook left Reyes hanging off the ropes.
Down, Harold Reyes. Two big uppercuts in a hard left, and down goes Reyes. He got spun around, and this fight is over. Spectacular.
Molded behind the steel bars of America's toughest penitentiaries, veteran slugger Amir Mansour isn't afraid to mix it with the bigger men. Finding room for a counter right hook in the 7th, Mansour sent Fred Cassie face first and lights out.
Just spit blood.
He's down. Mansour has knocked him out. A thunderous right by Amir Mansour, and Cassie is out cold.
And they need to take a good look at Cassie right now. He's in bad shape, Kenny. He went straight down on his face. His eyes really aren't moving too much, so everyone needs to take a step back and just give Cassie some room here to operate. He's still out.
Just as he had removed the ever-present threat of Luis Ortiz in their 2018 Barnstormer, Deontay Wilder repeated the trick over his Cuban adversary in late 2019.
Deontay Wilder!
Ortiz's boxing skills had him in the driver's seat until a Wilder right hand swiftly ejected him from the contest.
That left hand was blocked.
Oh, there it is!
That's what I was waiting for. That's all it took. He's done.
It's over. One right hand was all it took, and Deontay Wilder stays the heavyweight champion of the world.
6 months after bursting into the consciousness of mainstream boxing fans, Thai bruiser Sor Rangvisai showed that his first win over the legendary Nicaraguan was no fluke.
All right, touch gloves. Back to your corner.
Chocolatito dug in as best he could, but Sor Rangvisai's slashing hooks made all the difference.
It's not simply the Chocolatito's.
He goes a second time, and this is it. This is over. He is knocked out. Tremendous performance. Spectacular performance by a young man who may have just grown into the championship he won unexpectedly in New York.
Nonito Donair's 2011 KO of Fernando Montiel remains one of his most chilling. Montiel was a respected champion, making the second defense of his respective titles. Donair's left hook sent Montiel's mind and body twitching into orbit.
Good right. There he is. Out of there. It's over with. It's over with. That is done. That is done.
7. Counter left hand finishes it. Here in round 2.
Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Sergio Martinez.
Nicknamed the KO Doctor, big-punching Cuban Uniel Dorticas was made to wait until the latter stages of the fight with Tabiti before dishing out his medicine. Tiring Tabiti was stepping up in levels. A Dorticas right cross swiftly closed the show.
And he's achieved that really. Oh, big right
Big
hand.
right hand there from Dorticas, the KO Doctor. And he's dished out some treatment there to Andrew Tabiti, who is flat on his back. As the Cuban celebrates at ringside, the Doctor is just over the stricken fighter, who I think is out cold.
A fight that came out of the blue saw Khan jumping 2 weight classes to tackle one of boxing's pound-for-pound best.
Good luck to both of you. Touch him up in his sweaty.
Before securing one of the sport's most lucrative ever contracts, Canelo was busy blasting Khan into oblivion with an overhand right on HBO pay-per-view.
His energy and everybody.
Right hand shot by Canelo. And Kenny Bayless is stopping the fight. And Canelo Alvarez is the first one there. Canelo Alvarez may have knocked Khan cold with that shot.
He did.
No matter the predicament, throughout his career, Deontay Wilder has so far found a way to avoid defeat. Having an equalizer that rewires opponents' senses always helps. Poland's Artur Szpilka caught the right hand in round 9 and was down and out in a split second.
Pace. Szpilka's down! Well, you question Deontay Wilder's power. The proof is in the banana pudding as he just turned the lights out on Artur Szpilka with this 35th knockout, winning his debut here in the Big Apple.
If ever a punch helped define UK boxing over the last decade, it was Carl Froch's stunning right hand that ended his rivalry with George Groves. Verbal battles, personal distaste, and a suspect stoppage in the first contest led to an 80,000-strong Wembley crowd and a moment of history.
Digs in deep, sucks it up, and gets it! Wow! Right hand has destroyed Groves! It's waved off already!
Another world-level fight, another early KO for Naoya Inoue as the Japanese monster closed out a destructive 2018. Once experienced southpaw Payano was dealt the Inoue 1-2, it was lights out for the Dominican.
A majority decision against Rush.
Left-right combination, and Payano has been stretched on the canvas, and he doesn't know where he is. He's face down. The referee is holding the count, and it is all over. Naoya Inoue with a devastating statement of intent. A first-round knockout, becoming the first man to stop Juan Carlos Payano.
Wilder dramatically drew the curtain on his pre-fight beef with Dominic Brazil in the only way he knows. While technically flawed, Brazil had a reputation for durability. Wilder sent his head and body shaking from a trademark overhand right, turning his rival into a walking meme.
His world heavyweight title, and it is over in 1 round. The 20th first round knockout victory for Deontay Wilder.
The image of a prone Manny Pacquiao lying face first on the canvas will live long in the memory of boxing fans the world over.
Hey, good luck. Touch him up. Buenas suerte.
Competing in the final installment of a 4-fight rivalry, Marquez's right hand provided the most conclusive finish of them all.
With the right hand.
Oh!
That's another knockdown.
He's not getting up, Jim.
He get up.
He's not getting up, Jim. He's not getting up.
No, he's been knocked out. A sensational right hand knockout by a bloodied Juan Manuel Marquez. And that is the keystone moment of his career. Manny Pacquiao is still face down.
And it may mean a 5th fight between Marquez and Pacquiao.
A highly anticipated rematch between two stylish southpaws did not disappoint. Almost a year after a closely contested battle, Williams and Martinez returned to Atlantic City to settle the score.
Now shake hands and come out of the belt.
A perfect left hook for Martinez provided a definitive statement.
Good left hand, and down goes Williams.
I think it was a right hook.
Right hand, Williams through the left, Williams down.
He's not getting up, guys.
Not getting up.
That is the knockout of the year, if nothing else. A sensational, shocking, one-punch knockout of a normally iron-chinned, top-notch fighter.
And that's the worst punch in the world, a punch you don't see.